Welcome back, everyone. Every day, artificial intelligence is being used more and more, and deep fakes are getting harder and harder to spot. And at some point, if we're not there already, seeing something with your own eyes on a screen won't guarantee that it's true. And that's why there is currently a push in Congress to ban deep fakes and AI from political ads and campaigns. And here to talk about whether that's a good idea, bad idea, what he thinks about the idea is our friend and tech expert, Dave Hatter. Dave, I'm glad you're here. And before we even begin our discussion, I want to take a look at something, okay? So it's already being used, and we wanted to show you an example of a deep fake from a pro-Ron DeSantis group. So it shows Donald Trump and Dr. Anthony Fauci hugging. 3 of these photos are not real, but it could have an impact with voters. So Dave, I'll just kind of throw this back to you. How alarming is something like that? And this is just an example we pulled. It's not a statement about politics at all. It's just a statement about AI. How do you feel about something like that when you see it?
Yeah, Bob, first off, as always, thanks for having me on. I think it's very alarming. This is something I've warned about and been concerned about for a long time. You know, pretty much since artificial intelligence has gotten to the place where you can create deep fakes. You might also hear the term synthetic media. That's more of a catch-all term. Typically, when you hear deep fake, it's more about something that's negative. But, you know, whether it's text, audio, video, photos, or some combination of all of the above, it's really easy. I think surprisingly easy right now for someone to go online, have access to tools like Midjourney, DALL-E, static diffusion. There are several others out there. Again, ChatGPT, we've heard of that. There are tools for voice cloning. These things are readily available. And with little to no skill, just about anyone can take any sort of existing content or perhaps create something entirely from whole cloth and make it look any way they want. And, you know, a lot of experts have been warning about this. And while I'm generally kind of an anti-regulation guy, I think we do need regulation around this. Not just because of the political, the potential impact on politics, but just the impact on society. I mean, you said it, Bob. We're at a place now where you literally can't believe anything that you see or hear because it can be faked. And as this technology improves, it's only going to be more and more difficult to debunk these things.
Well, and think for someone who does what we do here at Local 12, if a piece of video just randomly comes in here anymore, if we don't absolutely know the source, you can't go with something like that anymore because you have to be so sure. And the question is then, where does the line come? Because you could already hear First Amendment issues coming up and this, that, and the other thing. And people will say, well, that's just free speech and the way I'm expressing myself artistically or whatever the case may be. Where is the line? Not just for a politician, but, you know, we're seeing the actors and writers on strike right now in Hollywood. They're worried about their image being used again and again and again and again and again in movies and not being paid. It's really hard to find where the line is.
Yeah, I don't know where the line is, Bob, but I think particularly when it comes to things like being able to maliciously, because again, I think this goes a lot farther than politics. I am concerned. I mean, think about it. One day before an election, some kind of video or audio drops that purports to be a candidate saying some terrible thing or perhaps even committing a crime. But think about the impact of this on the legal system. You're accused of a crime that was created through some AI tool to frame you, or vice versa. You've committed some crime, but you're using these tools to create evidence that it wasn't you. I mean, this goes a lot of different directions. I do think with the presidential election and the congressional elections on the horizon, it is important to get out in front of this. I know there's again some dispute about whether it's the FEC or who has the regulatory authority to control this. Apparently, there are some laws on the books. I'm not an attorney about the fact that you can't, essentially create something that purports to be someone else saying or doing something. I don't know exactly what the current state of the law is, but yeah, I think it should be illegal for you to use these tools to make something that is just completely false, right? A candidate saying or doing something they didn't do. But again, I think, Bob, this has much larger implications on society in so many ways. I'm very concerned about the amount of fraud you're going to see as a result of this, because I could call down there right now. If you have your voice on a voicemail, and I mean, you're a celebrity. It'd be easy to get your voice anyway, just from watching the website. But anyone that's got voicemail, I can capture their voice, feed it into one of these voice cloning tools, and I can literally make them say anything I want them to. So yeah, if you think this isn't going to be used for elections and fraud, you're crazy.
It's pretty scary stuff. And for those who don't know, not only is he a tech whiz, Dave Hatter, he's also the mayor of Fort Wright. So this may be something that you have to worry about down the line. I mean, seriously, it could come to that level at some point. It really could, because it's getting easier and easier.
It could, but if someone wants the job as mayor of Fort Wright, they can have it anytime they like. Not too worried about that, you know?
You heard it here
But you're
first.
right. It is very easy. And could this show up in local elections? This could show up anywhere because these tools in many cases are free or very inexpensive to use and require very little skill to produce a really quality product. And it's only going to get better and easier to use.
Dave, as always, we appreciate your time very much. And I think it's fascinating and scary all at once. It really is.
Totally agree on both accounts. Terrifying, but fascinating. And as always, thanks for having me on, Bob. But people need to realize that's where we're at now.
Yep, and it's where we're going as well. Appreciate you, Dave. We'll talk again soon.
You can always find our local 12 stories right here on YouTube. Don't forget to tap subscribe, and then you can get all the notifications.